welcome to episode 4 of Song is Born. And this time we have a bit of a special guest, someone I know a little bit of, and that's my wife to be, Beth here.
Hi.
So thanks for coming on.
Nice to meet you. A little
us.
bit of special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can honestly say this will be the best guest we'll ever have, right?
Aww.
You better say
Very
that.
sweet of you.
That's very biased of you.
Yeah, right.
I know. I have, it's true, but to me. So, one thing that I thought was I was just thinking about this is really interesting. Pretty much our relationship started around the same time that we got together as a band. You heard of West 7 and whatnot a little bit beforehand, and you came and saw us eventually play out of the garage.
Mm-hmm.
But we met and we kind of got acquainted with one another up at the bar, a few hundred feet from the house. And I thought that was really cool that all of us here basically got to know each other around the same time. And it was funny because I didn't want to, when we first started getting together here and there, I didn't want to share that with anyone. It was special and new, and I didn't want to kind of, oh yeah, Beth, the bartender at Maloney's and whatnot. Yeah, I'm with her right now, and it's awesome. So these guys had no idea for a long period of time.
Yeah, I had no clue.
I didn't.
And then after we found out, it all made sense,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even if you told me, everybody's got the hots for the bartender.
It's like that.
And I was like the oldest, least hot bartender there.
Yeah, it's like when I told my friends about my Canadian girlfriend at the time. They're like, yeah, his fake Canadian girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I had a very, very strict rule for myself against dating guys from the bar.
Yeah.
And I abided by that rule for a lot of years.
You hear that,
I
Beau?
broke down all the barriers.
That's how awesome you are.
I did.
Is that because you just run into a lot of alcoholics?
No, it all around. It's just asking for trouble. Because think about it, they can find you all the time because they know where you work.
Workplace, that's creepy.
And it's not like walking into someone's office; it's walking into a bar. So you're expected to be available to talk and socialize.
Yeah, but you knew where he lived the whole time, so you could always track him down if you needed to.
Yeah, but coming to someone's house and walking into their bar are kind of different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But he broke that barrier because he wasn't like another guy from the bar,
So what is it that set him apart?
Well, he wasn't like a total douchebag for starters. Not to sound cheesy, but
I can vouch for that, yeah.
Yeah, I have a long history of making very bad decisions when it comes to men. Hence why I began to set rules for myself, and that was one of them. But Beau and I just kind of, in fact, we were talking about earlier what we were going to discuss here, and one of them was when I first started talking to him, he was coming into the bar with the guys from West 7 early, like 5, 6 o'clock on weeknights before practice. So I wasn't very busy, and I'd have a chance to chit chat with them a little bit. And one of the first times we met, I had just gotten back from a trip to Costa Rica. So we started talking about travel, and that led into more conversation about current events and politics. And we always kind of clicked and had a lot in common. And he wasn't a barfly, he was there for a purpose. And it was always like during times when we could talk, and I don't know, we got to be, friendly with each other. That's
the best way to start it, is like as a friendship, You get to know the person without any expectations, and then you could decide from there. Yeah, we took that to a whole new level. Even.
Yeah. I'm always curious. What was the first date?
I'll let you take this one.
That's like the taking off point. That's what makes or breaks that type of situation. So I got to hear this.
Well, it depends on how you define date.
Yeah, obviously we had some history leading up to the first date, and so there was a lot of conversations at the bar, and even some hanging out outside over at like our neighbor's place and whatnot. And then what was it? So we played West 7 played out of the garage, right? That was like the first time you came and hung out around outside the bar. That was like really the first time I saw you outside the bar. And, you know, I remember sitting, you know, behind my drum set, looking out of the garage and, you know, seeing a couple of girls sitting on the lawn. And I was like, oh man, because it's so far out and it's like dark outside and I can't see. I'm like, man, who are those girls there? And then later on, I came to realize, like, even walking up to her, I didn't even recognize her, because sometimes when you see someone outside of their element, like outside of the bar,
you don't expect
like,
to see
I'm
them
like,
there.
oh man, who is that? Oh wow, that's Beth.
Out of uniform, hair down.
and she was there with Lisa, and you know, not that I wasn't impressed beforehand, but you know, when when I saw her outside, like her full self, like laid back, you know, having a good time, like that's where I really saw her come out of her shell a little bit, even though she's not out of her shell at the bar, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So when she realized you were a drummer is when she decided to break her rule about not dating customers.
Well, I was already close.
That's usually how it goes.
It took a little bit of work.
But no, funny story there. I've always been attracted to musicians. It's kind of one of those many bad decisions I've made. And that night in particular, he was drumming. And then at some point in between sets, you guys were just kind of hanging out and jamming, and he was playing guitar. And I just kind of made the comment like, oh, he plays guitar too. And my friend Shauna just looks at me and she's like, you are so hooking up with him. I was like, no, not another guitarist. No offense, Carrie.
but I think that at that point, that was when, we were hanging out, like, I think it was the second time outside. And that's when Carrie, you actually came down and we did like a duo out of the garage for Chrissy's friend's birthday. And we were just playing, and then that's really not necessarily first date night, but when we kind of got, romantic for the first time. And then after that,
first kiss, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
that's what I figured. Yeah.
There was a lot of Polish vodka and mead involved.
Oh man, I brought out the big mead. Guns. I had mead at the time, which was like
so hungover the next day.
Both of us were.
You got the Viking beverages out.
Well, it was Chrissy's friend's birthday, so I'm bringing out the Polish Jovankova vodka. Very good.
Yeah,
and all kinds of different drinks, but it was just an overall fun night. There was a lot of karaoke that happened for sure.
Oh.
Wow, I still have video of that. By the
bad.
Way,
that video needs to go away. So bad.
Toto was a definite highlight of that night. You know, you guys
offensive.
Doing Africa.
I love me some Toto. That's one of my favorite songs of all time.
And we offended Toto by trying to sing karaoke that night.
I think it was about intent. I think the intent was there.
We had the heart.
I don't think they wouldn't have been offended by that.
No. Steve Lukather, he's a cool guy. You got it.
You put it all out there.
We sure did. And he still likes me the next day.
You guys connected on a deeper level on that song, so I'm sure Toto would totally appreciate that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, on top of everything else that we connected with, music is obviously, a big defining thing, which is, ironic because I have absolutely zero musical talent whatsoever, such as the karaoke video might suggest if you were ever to see it. Hopefully you won't. But I've grown up with music. My parents were into music. I have 2 older siblings into music. Like I love music. It's a big part of my life. Yeah. Probably hence explains my attraction to musicians over the years, but lesson learned, only drummers going forward. I mean, only one drummer. Wait, look at my shirt. Dibs on the drummer.
Dibs on the drummer. And there is no S. It's a singular, not plural.
That's correct. The drummer.
But I think the main thing that I take away from that night is that, we ended up just talking, what felt like 2 minutes. was actually like 2 hours. We were sitting out in the field just talking about music, about shows, and it just got lost in the conversation. No one else was around us. And by the end of the night, no one was around us. Like we just basically hung out outside the garage like all night just talking, and we just got lost in that conversation of like it was just so comfortable right from the get-go, just communicating, and to find that person that you can just get lost in without even thinking about anything, not trying to do anything, just be yourself. Like that's one of the first times in my life that I felt that feeling of, yeah, this person I could just be around, whether it's romantically or not. I didn't have any preconceived notions at that point. It was just, we're just talking and hanging out and having a great time. And there were many moments that happened beyond that day that I again, we'll get into maybe a little bit of that, but we just kept getting to that same frame of mind where we would just talk and go back and forth for hours, and which felt like minutes. It was just perfect every time. And I was like, at some point I was like, why aren't we together? Like, what's going on here? But we'll probably get to that. Later.
So, like, after you felt the rains down in Africa, how soon after that did you guys realize that this was like, telling the family, this started to become serious?
Oh, well, that's where things get complicated. Mm-hmm. So we did go on an actual date after that night. So to go back to where we had our first date, of course, we went out and saw some live music, had a great time, hung out, for a few months after that. And like I said, me with my bad history with men, I was kind of at a point in my life where I recognized that I made bad decisions, and I didn't trust myself to make good ones. So I was a little bit shut off. And when things started to get, more intense and more serious, I tend to push away a little bit. And then on top of that, I had a lot of really just bad shit happen in my life. And that's rare. I'd been smooth sailing for a while. Like, I'd been single for several years, very little drama, almost just living life. And like within a few months, it was like bam, 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 bam. And most of it in hindsight is trivial compared to like the last thing that happened, which was my sister, who is the closest person to me in the entire universe, had a stroke. And that was really terrifying and awful for me. And I just kind of shut down emotionally. And I tended to push Beau away at that point. And I wasn't really in the right mindset for a relationship, but I cared so much about him as a person, I didn't want to string him along. So as a result, he felt rejected, I'm sure. And it was really bad. And I feel guilty about it to this day. But at the same time, over the next course of like the next year or so, he never gave up. And we actually got a chance to become really close as friends. And that, like you said, that was, one of the key things of being in a relationship with someone who's also your best friend. Like when we finally did come around to get back together, I was like entering into a relationship with someone who I already had such a solid friendship with. And that was kind of a new thing for me, and pretty amazing, because you tend to avoid all the awkwardness and all the weird stuff that happens in the early stages of a relationship. So I'm rambling.
No.
Why don't
I definitely understand that. I mean, it can be pretty vulnerable to rely on someone, especially if you've had distrustful relationships in the past.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that, but I'm glad that he was persistent.
He was very persistent.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are like the power couple,
One day I just caved.
I know. Like when I first met Beau, he wasn't in a relationship, but it just seems like you've always been there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like, what's always been.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, like, after, the social distancing.
That's what he called it. I social distanced him for like a year.
Pre-COVID social distancing.
I just didn't want to lead him on. So
She made it popular.
Yeah.
Man, this is all going to turn into like couples therapy. You guys are really getting some stuff out there on the table.
Oh my gosh. No. I completely understood like when it all happened, what was going on in her life, like that, no pressure. I get it. And she had the stroke with her sister, and then very shortly after, you got Jake.
It was before that I got Jake.
Before that you got Jake. So
yeah.
It's just such a close span of time.
I didn't even bring that up because to try to explain Jake, it sounds so ridiculous to other people, but I adopted a dog that literally took over my life. Beau can attest to that.
Yeah, I've never met a dog that required so much attention, so much
medical
money.
attention. He was
all the health problems.
Yeah.
And had probably the worst demeanor of any animal I've ever met.
Dick.
I can honestly say you both are saints for what you went through.
You guys took such good care of that dog. It was
like
I'm not even sure I could deal with a kid with that much attention.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah,
he was very sick.
He was.
I mean,
I
was
nursed
telling
him back
Beth
to
earlier.
health for a little while, and he was a decent dog for a little while, but then once his health declined again, he was just mean.
Yeah, but his back nine was pretty good.
You gave that dog like the best last couple years of its life that it could have possibly had.
Yep.
I feel like I earned some karma points with that dog.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And then we got Amos, so clearly karma came back in spades.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Amos
gosh.
is the best.
It's amazing.
He's literally the best dog in the entire universe.
Oh, sorry,
fight
Jake.
me. No, fuck you, Jake.
No, I agree. I like Amos better than my own dog.
I was gonna say sorry, Stella. Sorry, Nico, because I know my sister's watching this. I love all the other dogs too, but
shout out to all the dogs.
Shout out to all the dogs. But
yeah, we need to have like a doggy get together.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, Amos though, he's something special.
Stella's birthday's coming up, 4/20.
Oh, yay!
Oh, nice.
How old?
Shares a birthday with Hitler. She'll be 5.
And Bob Marley.
See, balances out.
Wow.
So happy birthday, Stella. So the weighs on the good side.
But yeah, I just remember like when you got Jake, and I think it was a text or something that you sent, and it was like, all right, just so you know, the dog's always going to come first. I was like, no problem, I get it, no problem.
As soon as I realized that was the case, I was like, oh man, this is my life now. So I wasn't sure if I was going to keep him or not, and once I made that decision, I was like, I have to devote 100% of my energy to this stupid dog, and I did. So I tried to give Beau a heads up. So yeah, that was the first thing in a series of unfortunate events leading up to my sister's stroke. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, you guys stood the test of time. You made it through. And now
we really did.
You guys are going to be getting
married. Yeah, at least now when she says in sickness and in health, she's going to mean it.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of in sickness, speaking of in sickness
let's not
and
go
in
there
health,
because I'll gag if I talk about his knee.
All right, we won't talk about the knee itself, but let's at least let's talk about the what led up to it, and so the whole proposal night in general, because I know a lot of people know about the story, but I think it's a fun one to tell, and so fast forward, a couple years, 2 years, a year and a half.
Yeah.
What's that?
We've known each other now for over 4 years.
Because of all the off and on things.
I know, our timeline is kind of like screwy.
It's like a Friends season. What are we in?
But
anyways, yeah. So we decided to. Original plan was to propose to you in Costa Rica. That's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, COVID had its say, and we couldn't really travel. And the next best thing I could think about is having all of our friends and family like basically gathering around in a comfortable place. Unfortunately, that comfortable place had to be your place of work.
Yeah.
While you're bartending.
For some people.
on a weekday, and we had shirts customized to basically spell out "Will you marry me?" and revealed it at the bar, and yada yada yada. All that stuff was amazing. I didn't plan well enough, apparently, because I didn't anticipate the amount of whiskey shots that people were going to get me immediately after. I should have, but I didn't. And then I think I'm pretty sure I forget an hour or two of that night, and then I remember getting woken up at the table at the bar by you.
Yeah, you had your head down on the bar,
and you were like, "All right, can someone bring Beau home?"
I was still working. Like, I'm completely overwhelmed because I just got proposed to. You guys were there, and I was working by myself because it was a Tuesday night, and everybody's still hanging out drinking. It's like all my friends, the minute I say yes, they're all like, "All right, Beth, more shots over here." And I'm like, just trying to catch up on washing dishes and everything else. And everybody's buying him shots. And I look and he's just like out on the bar. And I'm like, I'm still stuck here. Can someone please take him home and put him to bed?
and I think at that moment I lifted my head up and I said, "I can go for a run.
I'm okay. I could go running right now."
Yeah, something like that.
And my stupid brother-in-law.
my brother-in-law to be.
Love you, James, but yes, that was stupid.
He chimes in and says, "Yes, let's go for a run." Or what? He's
"That sounds like a great idea. Let's race."
Oh, let's race. Yeah. So okay, then we get two others to join in, on top of James and I, and it turns into a race in the field to the side of the bar. And this is a grassy field, at least so I thought. And we ended up, I think we got it on video too, the actual race. Some rough handheld video footage. And so off the starting gate, I think my friend Dan just wiped out immediately.
He was wasted. He took like 4 steps and face planted.
I am so jealous of him and where he wiped out. You have no idea. But he wiped out immediately. Caleb held his own for a while. I don't know if he actually fell or not.
Yeah,
but,
Caleb was relatively sober.
Yeah, so he made it a good ways. And then James just took off like a lightning bolt. It was crazy. And then there was me, who was trying to give it his all, and I ran like the Dickens, but I shouldn't have been running. And I made it to probably 3/4 of the way in, and I ended up tripping or falling. I don't know if I was trying to run faster than my body would allow.
In the video, it looks like you got hit by a sniper. You're running and it's like down.
If only there was a green screen, you could just take me and put me in some war movie, and there you go.
Remember like the videos of like Randy Orton just like randomly RKOing people? Remember those?
So anyways, I happened to fall right on the spot where there's like a little gravel. I don't even want to call it gravel, but it's like a cemented pathway with rocks, like small rocks that are cemented together. And I'm thankful that I landed how I did. If I was going to fall in that
space,
because I kind of went head first into the ground. I mean,
you did, but your head overshot it and hit the grass.
Right.
I think
I went into the grass beyond.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my knee happened to hit that. And we won't go into detail, but I was kind of in somewhat shock afterwards. I was still like laughing in a way.
It was merely a flesh wound.
I was gonna go home.
The kneecapitation.
Well, I'm standing outside, kind of semi-watching as this is happening, and I see him limping back, and James carrying him, and I'm like, oh God! I figured he twisted his ankle or something. And then I hear somebody, I think Caleb, say, "Oh wow, that's a lot of blood," and I'm like, "What? Blood?" And I look, and we won't go into detail for Carrie's sake. But he's like, "It's okay, I'll go home and wash it out." And I'm like, "Baby, I need you to listen to me right now. you have to go to the ER. Like you have to have stitches. This is not something you can wash out. And I had my server who was there, helping me close up the bar, drive him to the ER until I could get off work and go be with him.
Thank you, Olivia, if you're listening to this.
Yes,
I appreciate
I'm going to make
so
sure
much.
she listens to this. Shout out to Olivia.
Yeah.
She also has the footage of the race, so we're going to have to do her up for that. Yep.
That's true.
We'll have to do part 2 of the knee incident.
Yeah. And shout out to Caleb, who also went with him and stayed there with him in the ER until I could get there.
He was like a documentarian. He was with his video camera, just like looking in sheer like. He was just very interested in the whole process while they're, again, sorry, Carrie, cleaning it out and whatnot. But it was. I made all of their nights at the ER. Like they were cracked because I still had a few whiskey shots in me, and then they loaded me up with some morphine. So he
was feeling no pain when I got there.
It was a good time at the ER, but man, the next few weeks were horrendous. That was just
it took forever to heal.
I've never felt that much pain before. Just kind of being able to move around, like get upright after that, like. The
doctor said a broken bone would have healed faster.
Yeah. It's still.
It was a brutal injury.
They said a full year and they're pretty much right on. Like it's still not 100%, but it's pretty much back. So
that the way to steal my thunder. It was like 2 days later when I realized I'm like, oh hey, I got engaged the other night.
She had no opportunity to digest it. Between getting proposed to and then being asked for drinks and shots immediately afterwards, there was probably 2 seconds, and then and then after that,
my fiance is now going to the ER, and then
she's spending the rest of her night that she just worked a full bar at the ER and driving me around and dealing with me the next day, and by the way, we had our second shots the night before, so we're all dealing with the aftermath of. Oh, was it that morning?
It was Tuesday morning. Dose? We had our second COVID shot, and Tuesday night this happened. So the next day, it was the vaccine effects, the knee effects, and the hangover effects. Perfect storm of agony. Yeah.
Well, you've just proposed and you've already experienced the most crap you're going to experience in your entire marriage.
Well, yes, but I'm also deathly afraid of wedding day. I want someone to chain me up or something so that I can't hurt myself.
Nah, man, you're going to be enjoying it so much. You won't even think about it. Just no foot races.
Me and Kyle make sure you're safe. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Even if I have to come there myself and tie you to a chair so you don't get away.
I wasn't trying to escape. I guess I was running away, but
no cold feet, Beau. No cold feet.
Why are you running away?
Yeah, right. Oh, so
there's side. There's that little side story.
Yeah. So I think we want to kind of sum up. Obviously, we're going to have to try to put a song together. What do you think is?
We do that with all of the rambling we've just done.
Yeah, I want to try to get a good idea of like what is the sum of everything that you guys have built in your relationship. Like, what is it that you bond mostly with?
Well, is it? I wanted to add one thing that I thought was pretty important about how our evolution as individuals too, but also what I've seen, Beth as a person too, because I know, as obviously she's mentioned, she's had some rough relationships in the past, and one of the things that drew me to her was how independent she was, and almost like to an extreme, like she was so okay being alone and independent, like she was content with it. And I'm not saying that she was looking for anything more, but that's also what made it even more challenging to, in a way, break through that and show her that, yes, you can still be that, but let's see what we can do together, because I think we can be something even more together. And one of the things she used to joke about a lot when, especially we would hang out at her apartment, is like, you know, her heart was black, and I'm like, how do I respond? Yeah, you're dead inside. You have a black heart. Like how do I break through that? But now fast forward to where we're at, and like we've got this cute little fluffy puppy, and we're getting married, and all kinds of like stuff that you would have never even considered a couple of years ago is all happening, and hopefully you're on board with it. And I'm not
obviously. Oh, and our puppy is talking to me right now. If you guys can hear that in the background, but you're right.
You guys went from bachelor and bachelorette to straight up a wholesome family.
Well, one of the ways that I had a point. I was going to say one of the ways that you were able to break through that blackness and that deadness of me was by not being like super romantic, over the top, cheesy, because that would have just made me want to throw up. So, that time that we took to become friends is really important to me because, like I said, that was a first for me, entering into a relationship with someone who I was already so close with. And as a little side note, if I can just throw this in real quick, talking about the music, one of the songs that sort of like epitomized absolutely to every word how I feel about Beau was Alanis Morissette, Head Over Feet. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's so true. And during that first like week or so when we got back together, and so there was a week or two where like I hadn't really had time to process what was really happening and how I felt about it. And I was still kind of trying to figure it out. And then it was actually Caleb's 30th birthday, I believe. And he came in with Beau and a bunch of Caleb's friends to the bar while I was working. And I had already had that song running through my head because it was like, this is how, I feel. The minute he walked in the front door, that song came on the Pandora in the bar. Isn't that crazy? And I hadn't heard that song in years. And it was just, it'd been stuck in my head because it was just kind of like, oh, this kind of describes our situation, but I still wasn't really. But when that song came on the night he walked into the bar, like at the same moment, it was so weird. I felt like it was a sign from the universe. Like, yes, move forward. And it was kind of that might have been a defining moment where I kind of shed my fears. And so, yeah, sorry, that's super cheesy, I know.
No, that's a good song. That's a nice reference to go off of. So are you feeling like that kind of vibe of that genre, or what kind of genre are you thinking?
You step in here, baby.
I think, and you tell me if this is completely off base, but I'm thinking along the lines of in excess, Never Tear Us Apart.
Another song that's like our song.
it is, but I think that kind of style of a song, the music and everything 90s, would be very appropriate for that.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because when we first were back together, we were out one night up at Maloney's to see some friends of mine that were in town, and our one of our friends' bands was playing Jericho Turnpike. And I asked them to play that song for Beau. So that became one of our songs. Like, I had the band play it, and I told them it was for him.
Okay. Yeah, it was really cool.
And that's just one of the most beautiful, amazing songs of all time to me. So that's one route we could take. At the same time,
throw in something else.
I'm not the music person here, but I like how other features of our defining themes of our relationship are that we laugh a lot and we have a lot of fun together and we're friends and things are very light, like not in a way that they're not intense as far as our feelings, but it's just lighthearted all around. We're goofy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you reconcile those two different things, but
I think that in a way comes down to the lyrics a little bit, and we'll kind of play with that to kind of get it to have a little bit of light on life vibe, but still have a powerful backing to it. I think is what I'm kind of thinking about.
Like, we're not sappy, is my point. One of the ways he won me over was by not being sappy.
I'm going to sample some of those like squeaky toys in the background and put it in the song.
At this point, I've lost all control over Amos, so I'm just letting him do his thing. I hope it doesn't mess this up.
Nah, it's fine.
I gave him a bully stick. He already plowed through it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So yeah, I know Beau said he wanted to kind of drive take the lead on the lyrics for this one. And then of course I'll step in and try to, help kind of carry that into exactly what he's wanting to do and the style of music that we're going for. So I think we have some interesting concepts to kind of toy around with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what we can come up with, and please, Carrie, you're gonna have to take the lead on it and make it fit, because I mean it's important to make sure that things mesh with the music side of it, and what you have in mind may not necessarily jive with how we're putting the phrasing and everything together. So we'll give you some ideas and some stuff to work from, but we'll look to you to make it musical.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I'll look forward to it. Yeah. Thank you, Beth, for everything. And we're very happy to have you be a part of this.
Thank you guys for having me. I know I'm not probably like your typical ideal guest, but
You're part of the family.
No,
that's about as ideal as it gets.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean, we don't always have to have a musician. We want people that just inspire us into the production of a song. That's all that matters.
Yep.
And what's great is, like, I've met few people that know more about music than Beth. There's just a handful that, I mean, she's competed with people at the bar to rattle off names of bands that they play and what album, what year. I mean, she knows an insane amount of music.
There has to be a producer out there that can't play an instrument, right?
It was really a tragedy that I was born with zero talent. Like, every time I make a wish on a birthday cake or a shooting star, it's not for money, it's not for world peace, it's for freaking musical talent.
not for world peace. Screw
world
peace.
I mean, screw that. Come on, that's just kind of
obviously you haven't.
Enough other people have wished for world peace. I wish to be able to sing or play the piano or something.
I got one more question. So sometimes if me and my wife were just laying in bed and just talking, I'll ask her, like, what's if you can be anywhere right now, like reliving a moment from the past, like where would you want to be? And sometimes it's we had a really nice time in New York, or that one time in Seattle, or going to see the mountains or whatever. Like what is something that, if you're just lying in bed and you're like, if I could be anywhere right now, where would I want to be? What would be the answer for that?
Well, we haven't really had much of an opportunity to go too many places together. So it's hard to say, because obviously wherever I would want to be, I would want to be with him. Mm-hmm. There are places I've been that are stuck in my heart that I would want to be, but I want to go back to those places with Beau. So I don't know. What do you think?
Like Costa Rica?
Well, obviously, yeah.
I mean, it could definitely be a place that you've been and want to take him.
I do. Sure. I want to take him so bad. And it's so funny because one of my best friends who I've traveled to Costa Rica with on several occasions is there right now celebrating his 50th birthday. And he sent me some pictures today from my favorite hotel in my favorite town in Costa Rica. And I was like so happy for him for being there, but so a little jealous at the same time. And I was showing it to Beau, and I was like, I want to take you there so bad. So that's my happy place. That's always been my happy place, even since before I've known him. Now my happy place is probably at home with him and Amos.
And you've gone up north to like New Hampshire and stuff with Beau to kind of see around his stomping grounds. So.
And that was really fun too. That's another happy place. I would love to go back with him to Portland, Maine. Great city.
Yeah.
Looking forward to doing that again at some point.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that too.
Oh yeah,
And
we are
since-
going there, aren't
We're
we?
going
Kyle?
there, yeah.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
Cool.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I'm
it's such a
excited.
cool city.
I'm curious to see
And-
how different it is from like Ottawa, Quebec, and stuff like that. See
Yep,
how
yep.
what it looks like.
And I also
And-
lived in Hawaii for 6 months a long time ago. I would love to take him there. That's another fantastic place.
That's
So as far as
definitely bucket
places,
list.
I've
Absolutely.
got places. I've never been to
Alaska,
Italy, but
Hawaii.
it's already in my heart.
Hawaii.
Alaska.
Alaska and Hawaii. Those are the only two. I've been pretty much West Coast. I mean, I've been all around, but those are the two that I have to visit at some point.
Oh yeah, Hawaii is amazing. You guys will love it.
I'm going.
I would love to go to Ireland, and pretty much anywhere in Europe. But I feel like Ireland would be a special place for us to go.
Yeah,
And
we really
I
want
know
to
you-
travel Europe together.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jen
I've been
and
to
I are going
Ireland.
to- Yeah, we're
Where are
going
you
to
going?
Nova Scotia next or this summer.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
That's on my list too. My dad actually, he has Parkinson's now, and he's about to turn 80 years old tomorrow, actually. So he doesn't really travel anymore. But for many, many years, he took off every summer on his motorcycle and traveled somewhere in the continental U.S. And he's got friends up in Nova Scotia, and that was one of his go-tos. He would ride his motorcycle all the way there from Florida, and they'd
Oh,
go
wow.
out to Newfoundland, and yeah. So I've been hearing about Nova Scotia most of my life, and it sounds like a really awesome place. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah,
Taking lots of pictures.
Please send pics. Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure. Will do.
Yep.
All right. Well, it sounds like we got some work to do.
Yep.
Start
And when
the
we
clock.
Couldn't
return,
be too hard.
when we return, this will be one of the first or only podcasts that we do where I'll basically transition from being single to married. So
That's right.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
By the time we reconvene,
Amazing.
we'll be married.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it will seem like a blink of an eye to any listeners, but
Yeah. And cut.
so
Jump cut.
so we'll see you guys soon.
See ya.
All right, guys. It's one day away from the big day. Actually, the night before. And so this is Wednesday, a week from the first part of the podcast. So we've basically finished the song. I recorded drums yesterday for it, and man, I couldn't be more thrilled with how it came out. And it definitely took a bit of a turn from some of the stuff we were talking about initially on the podcast, but I think it found its place and found a way to make it its own. And I couldn't be more humbled and privileged to be able to work with Carrie and Kyle on this project. And obviously it's close to my heart with being a wedding song essentially, or at least a Beth inspired song. So I'm very excited to see how everyone reacts to it and whether they enjoy the song as in and of itself, but it will always be a special song for me and hopefully for us for years to come. So I'm looking forward to doing the second part of this, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Wait.
Welcome back,
What's
guys.
going on?
Sup?
Hi.
So that's probably going to be the most fun break we've ever had.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks this time. Almost 3 weeks.
So it was
Yes.
it was a bit longer for multiple reasons. For one, obviously Beth and I got married, and then for two,
Yes.
we also went on a trip, a little trip up to Portland, Maine, and got to surprise Kyle and his wife Jen.
Yeah, it
which was awesome.
I gotta say, like when I walked in there, I it was a huge surprise. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, these what? No way.
Aw.
But then I thought about it, and
Like, what are they doing
yeah,
here?
exactly. We were actually driving to Portland from Boston, and I kind of caught Becky like texting weird on her phone, like sneaking. Like I saw her just covering the phone while she was texting. I thought that was weird, but all I could see was it was Beau that she was texting, and I didn't think anything of it. But I was like, that's weird. Why is Becky texting Beau on Carrie's phone and covering it up? So I thought that was something.
Beau just got married. What's happening?
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was awesome. It was a great surprise, and I loved Portland. Portland was beautiful.
Such a great city, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we love it.
Definitely different.
Yeah, I think that was everybody's favorite was Portland, especially going to see the lighthouse and the coast. That's just breathtaking.
Yep.
Yeah, that lighthouse and just the cliff sides, and you can just walk around. I mean, it's such a big, vast area that you can enjoy and appreciate the scale of it. It's unlike anything you can get like down where we are in Florida. I mean, that cliff is probably the highest point of Florida, wherever you can find it. So yeah, that was just a really cool, kind of a last minute trip for us because we didn't have really anything planned, and then Carrie told me you guys were planning a New England getaway, and I was like, you know what, let's do like a little short hop up there, and we love Portland, so just stay in Portland and walk around and meet up with you guys and surprise Kyle and get to see him because he's up in Canada, so perfect opportunity. And we had a blast, and
it was shorter than I would have wanted, but it was awesome. It was really nice to catch up with you guys and see you and give you all a big hug. So and congratulate you guys in person and give you a big congratulations hug. That was really special. Yeah. I like that. That was fun.
Yeah. Speaking of congratulations, so how did the wedding go?
It was awesome. Yeah.
You go ahead, Beth.
Oh no, I was going to say you go ahead. It was exactly what we had in mind. We didn't want to do a big production. We just had it here at the house, and I'm sure we probably talked about it last time. I don't really remember, but yeah, my mom officiated. She got her notary certificate so she could marry us. And it was just his parents, my mom, my sister, and brother-in-law. And then we enlisted our friend Caleb, who was a previous guest, as you all know, to take some video and pictures and whatnot. Did it here at the house, and then went to dinner at Charlie's. And then, got a little bit drunk afterwards because it was also St. Patty's Day.
So
luckily, no one got injured.
Correct. It was a success. Nobody fell.
So obviously we've been working on a song that you guys played at your special event. Can you tell us a little bit about the reaction and your first impression on hearing the song and how we completely took a left turn from anything that we had talked about previously?
Well, we talked about a lot of things. So yeah, I was just explaining that process to my sister today. And I was like, I must have been driving these guys nuts because we were all over the map with different genres and different song ideas and everything. But what you guys came up with was just awesome. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Everybody loved it. I mean, we just played it for my sister like an hour ago and she was here and she cried again.
Yeah, it definitely evolved from the first conversation throughout the time when we were coming up with ideas. I sent you guys like a ton of like piano intros because I know you wanted something piano. I sent in some synth stuff too, and I thought maybe 80s like In Excess, kind of some 80s ballad stuff. And eventually we came upon something that was, although maybe a little bit different than the original part one of the podcast, it evolved to exactly what you actually wanted, based on what you guys were saying, what you liked and not liked. But it evolved to be something that I really love the song.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think at some point before, you guys kind of finalized on where the song would end up. we had something at the scale of like a very large Broadway play, like a whole production going on with multiple segments and instruments and everything.
Orchestra.
And yeah, we had full orchestra going on. I mean,
Carrie was ready to kill us all.
yeah, we were wondering if Carrie would come back for part 2 and actually do work on the song, but it ended up being perfect, like you guys said. And
I think at some point you said, "I'm not writing a musical here."
Yeah, one of the other challenges was that that Beau and Beth wrote the lyrics for the song, and
not Beth, just Beau.
Well, you
She
guys are
approved
married,
them.
so you guys are one and the same. So
We're a unit now.
the unit together wrote the lyrics, and I don't know if you were planning on 4/4 time signature or 3/4, but we ended up going with 3/4 for the song, and so it was a bit of a challenge to fit the lyrics into that time signature, which actually worked out great. But that was a fun challenge in that too.
Yeah, I really like where it ended up too with the lyrics. I kind of just put something together right after the first part of the episode. But what Carrie, what you did with it and turned it into like a full like coherent thought really was just so perfect. And I there was one moment where I was actually at my now sister-in-law's house, and we were listening. I was just playing like the first segment of one of the iterations of the song for them, just like that piano intro, and then maybe a few seconds beyond that. And I was texting with Carrie, and I was like, yeah, I mean, yes, I put lyrics together, but once you hear I think it was something along the lines of the vibrations around the words, like that's where you really feel the power of the song. And yes, you can still have powerful words and poems and speeches and whatnot, but there's something about having those notes, those the beat, the piano, it just creates that vibe of the music of the song, and that power behind it, the feeling and what you're going after, and being able to mesh what someone else basically writes and then turn that into music in a song that meshes perfectly. I mean, that it was just so amazing to hear that. And of course, seeing their reactions even for the first few seconds of the song was telling. It was like, okay, this is actually hitting somewhere too. It's not just, my biased opinion of, oh yeah, no, this is a song I actually had some input on the lyrics on, and then it's being, slowly growing into something and morphing into something more powerful. So I got to see that through the eyes and expressions of Beth and Lisa in that regard. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
I think one of the hardest parts in songwriting is trying to tap into the empathetic, part of the lyrics have to translate with you, and of course with you guys initially giving me a list of some of the lyrics that you had put together, that kind of helped me, build up on the personal stuff that you had already put in there, and then of course I just take some of the storytelling elements from the interview. But it's such an interesting way to create a song, because I'm basically just hopping onto your current and going for a ride and just seeing where it takes me,
I like that.
There's no steering. You just kind of got to go with the flow, and then it just becomes what it is. And to me, it kind of came, we mentioned like, some rock elements, maybe like Alanis Morissette got brought up initially, and then it kind of morphed into something more like Evanescence style is kind of how I hear it now. So because it's got like the piano thing really soft, and then it builds and becomes more of a heavy song.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
And playing it for the family, like that was such a special moment. Obviously it was an near final version of the song, but listening to that while everyone's hearing it for the first time in after what just happened, which was literally moments after we had done the ceremony. That was just a really beautiful moment for us, and to see that reaction from the family too was really special. And
I don't think my mom's ever going to be able to hear it without crying.
yeah and
Love
wait
you,
till
Mom.
wait till she sees the actual video accompanied with it.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
jeez. Yeah, the video turned out great. I love it.
she's-
I love the slow motion shots you got of Beth of her turning. I was like, oh man, that's perfect because it's like it's your message for her, you know, in the video, and your message to each other in the song.
Yeah, I had, you know, just listening to the song over and over and over again, you know, leading into putting the video together, I was like, you know, I do want to use a lot of, you know, of our footage from both the you know, the ceremony, wedding day, and then also proposal day, and some other stuff of like our special moments and whatnot together, especially this recent trip to Portland. That was really cool. Yep. But I wanted to add some, you know, focus on Beth too, because it you know, it is about her. She is our guest, and you know, seeing her transformation over the years that I've known her too, I wanted to kind of express that in a visual representation, and that's where that like silhouette, dark backlit like shot of her came to mind. And I was like, you know what, let's try this out and see how it goes. And it was a little bit of an experiment, and I ended up really liking it. She doesn't like it as much, but
it's not that I don't like it. I'm just very self-conscious. I don't really like being in the spotlight like that.
That's
that fits so perfectly with the song, though. It's the silver lined.
I know.
You know, it's the
we
dark
had a really good
cloud
time
with the
doing
light
the
wrap
shoot.
around it. You know.
Yeah.
And it gradually, like we did some different shots, so it gradually gets lighter and lighter, and then it's almost like an aura behind you in that very last shot, which I thought was really cool.
I love how
it turned out great. You did
I love
a great
how at some
job.
point she just decided, you know what, I'm going to freaking drink a wine. I'm just going to start drinking wine.
I had to drink a lot of wine that night. Like, just, I mean, like I said, I really don't like being, you know, the center of attention, and doing that shoot. It was like, I almost felt like a model. We were joking because he was watching some YouTube videos on that effect and how to get it just right. And they kept referring to the person in the video as the talent. And I'm like, so I'm the talent. I have certain demands.
So you went out and got a haircut?
You know? No, I didn't.
No.
But I did my hair for the shoot.
Oh, I see. It looks good.
Yeah. But no, it was like I said, I'm very self-conscious about being in the spotlight like that, but we did have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And obviously it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah. So maybe this is a good opportunity to play the actual video since we've talked about it so much. So here's Silver Lined.
I didn't expect this. My glass is already full. Is history repeating? Am I even capable? Conversations flow, and little did I know it all led me to you. In time, you'll find it'll be alright. Love is a wound you can mend. But tonight, life is the moment around us. Let's seize it till the end. And you'll find in time it's silver lines. Let's take a chance on the brighter side. Let my heart split open. That's what it takes. you'll find it'll be alright. Love is a wound you can mend. But tonight, life is the moment around us. Let's seize it till the end. And you'll find in time it's silver lines. Let's take a chance on the brighter side. In time, you'll find it'll be alright. Love is a wound you can mend. But tonight, life is the moment around us. Let's seize it till the end. And you'll find in time it's silver lines. Let's take a chance on the brighter side.
Oh, wait. On your mark. On your mark. Get set. Go. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a really fun ending to that video too. I wanted to throw in some bonus footage
Yeah.
that I think I hadn't seen that. That was, speaking of the trip and fall of the race at the end of proposal night, and yeah, I luckily didn't post any pictures of the aftermath of that, but I was basically out of commission for a few months, and literally I am still recovering from that. It's still on the very tail end of it, but I can still feel it when I kneel down on that knee. It's not fun.
Oh,
Yeah, we
baby,
couldn't
your
even.
knee was destroyed.
Yeah, we couldn't even practice
Destroyed.
for a few weeks. You couldn't even like get down on the throne and play drums.
He
Yeah, I
couldn't
think
even walk for a few weeks.
Everyone that I told that I tripped and basically cut my knee, and then I was telling you guys and then the other bandmates with West 7, I was like, yeah, I'm not, guys, I can't play the drums, and everyone's like, what do you mean you can't play the drums? You just fell on your, like, it's just a cut, and then they saw the pictures of it,
The
and it literally
decapitation.
looked like a shark attack.
It did. It looked like somebody took a bite out of his knee.
Oh man,
It was horrible.
yeah, that was brutal. And poor Beth, like, just after dealing with getting engaged, has to deal with taking care of me, like even helping me get to the
Is
the
he gonna
bathroom.
need a wheelchair for the rest of his
Totally
life?
stole my spotlight.
Yeah, right.
So
Totally stole
That's
my
why the
thunder.
music video was all about you, because proposal night it was all about him.
I was like, what did I sign up for here? I just agreed to marry him, and now I have to like
Baby him.
almost wipe his butt, but I didn't have to wipe his butt, for the record.
and
But
now
I would have if he needed me to.
Beth, tell him what just happened the other day.
Oh yes, well, this is stupid. I mean, it's nothing compared to your injury,
But
but
still,
as we were
like,
just
fitting.
we were just discussing earlier, I was actually yesterday. I was walking from the house up to Maloney's, which is the bar where his injury happened, to meet up with him and his other bandmates, and my clumsy butt tripped over like an uneven piece of the sidewalk in my completely sober in my sneakers in broad daylight, and took a nice spill and scraped all the skin off of my right knee, same knee. So yeah, apparently my sister renamed the bar Malone Knees, like spelled, Malone Knees. I was like, clearly the universe is telling me not to come out right now. So I went back to the house.
Or
and,
your
cleaned
holy
myself up.
matrimony.
That's a good one.
Oh man,
That's funny.
but yeah, that was a really special, and I just have to say thank you to you guys for doing this. And I mean, again,
Yeah.
like we've said to other guests that we've had on, but this is also for me. Like, we're gonna have this song and this video forever, and the family's gonna have that, and it's just a special thing that I wish everyone could have in their life, but won't.
Yeah.
And I feel very privileged and honored to be a part of this, and in particular this episode and this song. It's very special, and thank you guys. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
It's been an honor and a privilege and a blessing.
And I wanted to give another shout out to Kyle. He wrote a piano part that just really sparked the inspiration of the song. And
Yeah.
I mean, I sent like some guitar stuff, and I wasn't too happy with it. It was just kind of, forcing myself in a direction. But as soon as I heard the piano part, it just started to click.
It just hooks you in right from the first like few notes like that. And I've been listening to the song so much since like we pretty much finished it. And every time I listen to it, like you start to hear some of that piano part come through in different components of the song. And again, it's one of those great values of having a good song is that replay value of finding something new every time you hear it. And that was, you did an amazing job on that, Kyle, for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Really made
Absolutely.
I felt inspired by the conversation we had, and I've just been itching to get on the keys more and play around with the different sounds. And I kind of joke. You mentioned earlier about the cinematic kind of idea for the song that we had for like 5 seconds, and then we realized no way. But like that idea was Mariana's Trench kind of style, which was huge production value. And I've just been itching to get on the keys and just lay down a ton of tracks and come up with something. And so that's kind of part of the motivation that I had, plus the inspiration from the conversation. And it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. I just kept.
Well, you should definitely do it more because for me personally, piano is one of my all-time favorite instruments. And if I could play anything, that would be it. I love the sound of piano, and you and all of you guys are just so freaking talented. It's mind-blowing. You guys are so good.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was like I said,
Great job,
as soon as you said I wanted piano, I was like, yes, I can do that. So I was looking forward to it.
Yay.
So
Cool. Yep, you killed it as always.
Yeah,
well, this was a fun
everyone
one.
that I've showed the song to have just been like, wow, just blown away. I mean, every time, man. Every time you guys just take it to the next level. It's just ridiculous.
You guys, you mean us?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, in this case, like, credit for my drum part was really easy. This song was easy to do for drums. So, I just followed your lead, and it was great. I loved it.
I do want to say too that we had a good bit going on. Yeah, we took 3 weeks to do it. We usually try to do 7 days. But between you guys getting married, we had that trip coming up, and I had to have surgery. So there was just so much going on. And, I'm really happy with the product, given the circumstances and the time frame we had. And I can't wait to do it again.
Here.
All right. Until next time.
Till next time.
All right.
See you guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Love
See
you
you
guys.
guys. Love you too.
Take a chance on my pride.